everybody, it's me, Polynerdic Shad, back again to talk about TTRPGs real fast. I want to get one more in tonight. If you've been watching this series, you know I just recorded a bunch of them tonight, and they're all kind of rambly and chaotic and ADHD infused, and that's just my style. Love it or leave it. That's all I can tell you. I don't script these. I just talk to you as I think of the things, which leads to a lot of that. Anyway, last week, Hasbro did a bad thing again, laid off a bunch of people. So they started 2023 with the OGL stuff, and now they've laid off a bunch of people. And I know I'm not alone in thinking that, like, hey, I really enjoy 5e. I wouldn't mind playing 5e still, but I don't want to give Hasbro my money. I've already given them too much of my money for them to be the assholes they are to their really fine game designers. Whether you like 5e or not, the people that work at WotC that design the game developers, love what they do. They seem passionate about the game. They want the game to be the best it can be. But corporate tends to suck the life out of all art forms. So I've set out, I know I'm not alone in this, I've set out to present to you some of my favorite non-5e source books and guides and monster manuals and whatnot. And the last one we're going to talk about tonight as I record these, who knows when you'll see this, is Steinhardt's Guide to the Eldritch Hunt. It is very much set up. There's moon phases. There's terrible, awful monsters that fit right in with Bloodbourne. It is really, really, really Bloodbourne inspired. I kickstarted this. This is the playtest document. There is no physical book yet. This is kind of the collection of the playtest stuff. I just wanted to share this with you. I have the more recent PDF. I just cannot find it. The new races, ancestries, if you will. I like the mannequins. They're like Warforged, but fancy. Different types of them. An abyssal tiefling, essentially. Really terrifying. Scourgeborn. The Jaeger class is new for this. It's 100% the hunters from Bloodbourne. There's no way around that. It's the hunters from Bloodbourne. They run with chapters, so that's like your subclass there. Great art in this book, though. They have finishers as part of their class features. Rogue Blade of Radiance is one of my favorite concepts. The fact it's like a church assassin, essentially. It's like one part rogue, one part paladin. I think that is a fantastic conceptual idea. Living Nightmare Fighter. The art certainly fits that. Yeah, that's a messed up class. Or subclass. Blood Archer. This fits in with kind of what we were talking about with the Tal'Dorei book about blood magic and stuff. This would be a great addition to that setup. Exandria has blood hunters, and with the Tal'Dorei book, they brought in blood mages and blood clerics. Why not have a blood-based fighter to go along with the blood hunter? Um, the fire dancer monk, osteomancy wizard, which is awesome, using bones and stuff. Scion of Madness sorcerer. I really love the guardian domain cleric. Um, when you start throwing in more biblically accurate, terrifying angels as like your source of power, that's just. And the guardian angel has a stat block. This is one of my favorites, Paladin Oath of the Eldritch Hunt. If I ever play a Paladin in 5e, it's going to be this. Because I like the idea of someone who specializes in eradicating the unnatural, the aberrant, and the alien. Like, they are kind of like Oath of Watchers in I think it's the Oath of Watchers in D&D is what it's called. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what it is. The general vibe is you know, your warriors with an oath to take on like the weirdness of the world, the dangerous weirdness specifically. And I also like this. A, I like the art, but B, I love Pact of the Trigger as a warlock. Like the Pact of the Blade lets you summon a hex blade. This gives you hex guns, and that's just fantastic. And another thing they've worked on with this, spells aside, what's a good supplement without spells, right? This has trick weapons. Galvanized Claw, Ravenous Gazer, Sanctified Partisan, which can be like a giant, essentially, glaive or a spear and shield. The Serpent Blade Whip is one I love. It's really in line with some of the adaptations you can get in Eberron, where you have like shit grafted to you. That's a really cool weapon where it's fused with your arm, and it can be a whip or a sword or a blade, like a rapier. It's either a metallic whip or a rapier. Those are the two things, and you get to do tricks with it. Essentially, like the trick weapon being the changing, kind of like in Bloodbourne, where you have like that big thing that looks like a giant razor, giant straight razor, and it's bladed on this side, and you hit people with it, or you pop it open, and then it's got longer reach and more of a chopping sword. That's what that inspired that. I don't know if this document has the moon stuff in it. Phantom Limbs, where you can get a prosthetic that turns into a blade, also wicked cool. Guillotine shears. The Moongold weapons are cool because they can transform. This one could be like a pistol or a rifle. Just some really cool ideas. Eldritch Carving's a little fucked up. I'm going to skip right past that because I don't feel like talking about the Eldritch Carvings. There's a madness system. I don't know how I feel about it. I need to see the final version of it and gauge whether it's respectful. You know what I mean? Like do they handle sanity slipping in a respectful manner? That is very hard to do. A lot of madness systems kind of suck. A touch ableist, if you know what I'm talking about. I like here that this one says the Endless Hunt when that's not the title of the book. Typo in the early alpha test stuff. You get your madness tables. I like roll tables, but I'm not big on madness, short term, long term. There's moon phases, Shattered Moon. that whole mechanic is really cool. I really like the core idea here. Fire Moon, some monsters, definitely based on stuff you'd see in the Soulsborne stuff. Hey, look at that big guy, Lunar Revenant. Anyway, I don't want to go on forever about the things I like about this book and the things I'm hopeful for. At last notification, I think the books are ready to print, if not ready to ship. I haven't looked deeper into it, but that is another supplement for D&D 5e that I think it's going to kick ass when it's finished. I like the art style. I like the vibe. And I've never been one to take things whole cloth. You know, like, even my 5e campaign, I brought in stuff from the outside. I brought in stuff from other worlds. I brought in stuff from the internet that I found, both on, like, homebrew websites, Reddit, things of that nature. I love to get ideas and pull them in. I very rarely do, like, oh, this is the Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign, and we're going to play it word for word from what's in the book. I made one big mega campaign that started with Icespire Peak, did the bridging stuff that you could get on D&D Beyond back when I believed in D&D Beyond, helped build a community, did the Dragon Heist, did a little bit of Dungeon of the Mad Mage, did Curse of Strahd in there somewhere, came out of that and went into Descent into Avernus with a higher level stuff than what was in the book. This is another book that adds a lot of stuff, a lot of flavor, a lot of content that you can to your homebrew world or Faerun, Eberron, wherever you're playing Greyhawk. That's going to do it for me tonight overall with recording these videos about TTRPG books. I hope you find something in this series that will allow you to play the game you love without contributing to a greedy corporate entity that has no problem firing people 2 weeks before the end of the year. Not saying all of these companies that we covered in this series of videos are just perfect places to be either, but I haven't read about Kobold Press laying people off before the holidays. And that's what the crux of this series was. It was about, hey, Hasbro fucked up earlier this year. I've spent the year learning all sorts of games. But I also continue to play 5e and like the game as it is. It's not a perfect game. It definitely has some shortcomings. But since the people that own it are leaving so much up to the DM, other companies stepped up and said, hey, here's this setting guide for, Waste of Chaos, and here's some monsters either inspired by Bloodbourne or directly from the Dark Souls games. They're not fulfilling a lot of the stuff we needed, a lot of other companies to do it, and that's what I'm sharing with you is the other companies. I'm done rambling. I just got a text that my kiddo is hungry and ready for dinner. I'm ready for dinner too. I need to fix dinner and get these uploaded and all that stuff. I'm, again, rambling. Sorry. Like, follow, subscribe. I'll be back on Twitch someday when the internet's not the internet. Until then, check out the YouTube channel. I've been I started playing Baldur's Gate 3. Speaking of D&D stuff, been working my way through that. I think the third installment went up. I'm doing it in big blocks. I understand that it's not everyone's cup of tea to have something on for 4 hours in the background while they do things. But if you're into it like me, I provide that service. I'm good for background noise, if nothing else. See you next time. I'm sorry. Again, rambling. Bye.